Welcome back to the channel where I provide regular cricket content on interesting topics. Today's video is the second of two where I am running down what I believe to be the 10 best bowling spells in cricket history. It has been hard to narrow down to just 10 as there has been so many staggering performances over the years. At the end of the video I will mention one that just missed out. Also, as I mentioned previously, I am not just looking for how many wickets were taken in an innings. I am looking at how it impacted the match and possibly even the series. The last bit of housekeeping is that I am talking about spells here, not innings performances. That isn't to say that I won't take into account their performance in the entire innings, but I am really looking for impactful moments. With all that sorted, shall we get started? Number 5, Stuart Broad, Trent Bridge, 2015. On this channel I promise you I really try not to favour the English players. I'd almost prefer to not include them rather than being seen as being unbalanced. Then if you add that to my general feelings about Stuart Broad, in that I think he was a good bowler but not a great, you may be surprised that I have him in number 5 position here. The scene was set for Broad, however, with his more talented partner Jimmy Anderson injured for what was a crucial Ashes match. The series was poised delicately with England holding a slim 2-1 lead in a tight series. There was a lot of pressure on Broad to lead the attack, especially as the game was being played at his home county ground. But he delivered spectacularly. After just 19 balls in Australia's first innings, Broad already had 5 wickets. Steaming in with his knees pumping, he was just being roared in by the crowd. He wrapped up the innings having taken 8 wickets for 15 runs in just 57 balls. Australia were all out for 60. My personal recollection of this was trying to catch as much as possible on my phone whilst working. I remember each time I looked at the screen another wicket had fallen. England would go on and win the match, and the series, owed in no small part to Broad's magic at Trent Bridge. Number 4, Dale Steyn, Nagpur, 2010. If you are unaware of this performance, strap in and be ready to be impressed. Again, context is everything, and Dale Steyn was leading the South African attack in what was believed to be a fast bowler's graveyard. The pitch certainly seemed that way in the first innings as well, with the South Africans amassing a giant total. Thanks to a magnificent 253 not out from Hashim Amla and 173 from Kallis, the visitors declared on 558 for 6. The South African attack wouldn't have been racing out of the dressing room to bowl on that wicket, against the likes of Tendulkar and Sehwag. What Steyn produced, however, was a masterful exhibition of reverse swing that for me cemented his place as the best quick bowler of his era. Bowling at around 145 km per hour, he found movement that no one else could match and ripped through the Indians. I actually would have placed this performance higher if his 7 wickets had have come in one burst. He did, however, secure 5 wickets for just 3 runs in 18 deliveries, so that for me is good enough to get through my criteria. Some may think that other performances should rank higher, but on that wicket, playing India away from home, Steyn's 7 for 51 is in my opinion one of the greatest performances by a fast bowler ever. Number 3, Richard Hadley, Brisbane, 1985. Hadley is one of those players who doesn't get talked about enough in my opinion. He has a record that rivals anyone in the history of the game, and I mean anyone. This isn't a profile on players specifically, but it is worth mentioning that the great averaged 22 with the ball, plus 27 with the bat. A staggering record. So what was the Kiwi great's best performance? In my view it is a no-brainer, him running through Australia in the first test match of their 1985 tour. I assume as a Kiwi there is a little bit of trepidation touring Australia, I know there is for the English. But all of that was dispersed once Hadley got going. He took 9 for 52 in a tremendous bout of fast bowling, which although had 2 spells, it included a scintillating spell of 6 wickets for 23 runs. Put short, Australia just didn't have an answer for him, with players such as Alan Border and David Boone both struggling. What made this more impressive was that New Zealand proved the wicket was good to bat on, amassing 550 for 7 declared in what was their only innings. Just a couple of other bits of trivia to mention before moving on. Hadley also scored a 50 in the Kiwi innings and then took another 6-wicket haul in the Aussies' second dig. This wrapped up what was surely the greatest all-round performance in cricket history, and an easy win for the New Zealand tourists, who went on to take the series also. Number 2, Ian Botham, Edgbaston, 1981. Oh, how I have laboured over this spell of bowling. It actually comes down to a personal choice of mine, so I am sure some of you are going to disagree. I'll give you a little bit of background to why I prefer this bowling over Willis in the same series. When I was young my dad bought me a VHS called Botham's Ashes. I watched it over and over again. Whilst of course I marvelled at Willis's performance in the test before, there was almost more theatre to this beefy performance for me. Firstly, the wicket was a better one for batting, with Mike Brearley stating that this run chase of 151 was a much easier prospect for the Australians than the game before. The ball wasn't doing much off the pitch for anyone on show. Also, and importantly, when Botham came on to bowl, it really looked like the Aussies were going to cruise to victory. They only needed 50 runs to win with 5 wickets in hand. Maybe it was how the VHS told the story, but it felt like Brearley throwing the ball to Botham was the last roll of the dice. 5 overs, 4 maidens, 5 wickets, 1 run conceded. Botham was roared on by the crowd and suddenly found life in the pitch. The game was over and the series was soon to be also. For the drama and the moment, this is my number 2 spell of all time. Number 1, Curtly Ambrose, Perth, 1993. Being completely honest, Curtly could have had 3 or 4 spells in this rundown, such was his dominance. A few people guessed I would have him at number 1. His ability to get on a roll and just plough through batting lineups is almost unmatched. This is one of the reasons why he was ranked as my number 1 fast bowler of the 1990s. Check out that video if you haven't already. On various occasions he demolished England, skittling us for 64 when we were in with a sniff of winning a test at Port of Spain in 1994 springs to mind. But it is one thing smashing a very average England team at home, but for me it is something else doing it against the Aussies in their backyard. I've just noticed that 4 out of my top 5 spells were against Australia. I think that's more out of my respect for their abilities than any vindictiveness. So to Curtly and his spell in Perth. There was a lot riding on this series, with West Indies still laying claim to being the best side in the world. The Australians were hot on their heels, however, with the likes of Boone, 2 Wars and Border making up their middle order. Coming into this game, the series was tied at 1 each, with all the marbles on the line. The West Indies had just won a thriller at Adelaide, securing victory by just 1 run with Ambrose man of the match. So the tour rolls on to Perth and what happens is just the purest exhibition of fast bowling I think I have ever seen. In 32 balls, Ambrose took 7 wickets for 1 run, dismissing a who's who of Aussie greats, including Border for a golden duck. The Aussies were all out for 119 and would go on to lose the match by an innings, and with it the series. Ambrose took a record 33 wickets at an average of 16, rightly being awarded the Player of the Series award, cementing his place at the top table of fast bowlers in history, and number 1 in my best spells of all time in the process. That wraps up this rundown and it has been fun to make. There's another bowling performance that I briefly want to mention which just missed out. This was Shoaib Akhtar's blistering 6 for 11 versus New Zealand in Lahore. His performance included 4 top-order batsmen in a row having their stumps splatted from in-swinging Yorkers. Amazing stuff. Who else have I missed? There must be plenty. I'm thinking some Dennis Lillee or Malcolm Marshall. Please add in the comments all of the great spells you can think of and I will look them all up. As ever, thank you all so much for watching and participating. Until next time.